You got it? You don't have it yet? You don't have it yet? Nothing yet. If y'all can see us, ladies and gentlemen, we're trying to work out some technical issues, but hold on. It's there? Okay. Welcome back to the Exodus Media Network. In a past broadcast, you heard me talk about the World Economic Forum and the Illuminati. And today we're going to kind of touch on that once again. We're going to be a little more in depth. I have some video that we're going to share with you. We're going to play some of that because it's one thing for me to tell you. It's another thing for me to show you. It's one thing for me to tell you. It's another thing for me to show you. The gentleman that you see there in the box on the screen, and I really shouldn't refer to him as a gentleman, but I will for now. Actually, he's a devil. So let me not call him a gentleman. Actually, he's a devil. His name is Klaus Schwab. That's the gentleman that I have spoke about in a couple past broadcasts. He is the leader of the World Economic Forum. The World Economic Forum, as I informed you, is that's their they're really the Illuminati. The World Economic Forum, right there is the founder and chairman, Klaus Schwab. But as I told you before, they're actually the Illuminati. People talk about the Illuminati and they're supposedly this secret organization or whatever. They're not so secret. And nowadays, everything is done wide open, right in front of the public, right in public view. So there is some clandestine activity, but I would argue that most activity, Mike, is clandestine only because people are closed-minded. People aren't out here looking to discover the truth. People aren't peering behind the curtain to find out what's really going on. So it's not clandestine necessarily in that these people are trying to hide stuff from us. They don't have to hide anything from us because the average person has no interest in trying to find out what is really going on. They're only interested in their little simple lives while the world goes to hell. So right here is Klaus Schwab, and he is the founder and the chairman of the World Economic Forum, aka the Illuminati. I'm the only person that has informed you that Schwab and the World Economic Forum is actually the Illuminati. I can show you video of George Soros on the stage there at the World Economic Forum, and many other horrible people. But I'm going to play this clip. And in this clip, he's going to mention and give thanks to a certain individual. So I'm going to play part of this, then we're going to pause it, and I'm going to talk about that. Hold on one second. Let me reduce myself and show you more of Schwab.
Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, it's my great honor to participate for the 8th time at this important meeting, even if only in a virtual way. I would like to express my high respect to His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum for having taken the initiative for creating such an important global platform for governments shaping the future.
Okay, I'm going to pause Klaus Schwab right there. Now, he opened this meeting by giving thanks to Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum. Okay? Now, I don't expect you to know who he is, this Sheikh Mohammed, but if he opens the World Economic Forum giving thanks to Sheikh Mohammed, he must be a very significant, important person. Would you agree, Mike?
Oh, yeah.
And the reason why he's giving thanks to him, because in a large way, he has a lot to do with the World Economic Forum and the success of the World Economic Forum and bringing all of this together. He's one of the wealthiest men on the planet. This Sheikh Mohammed is the ruler, the emperor, the ruler of Dubai. Okay. And he also plays a large role in leading the UAE. But he is the ruler of Dubai. Now, if you heard Mr. Schwab, he thanked him for taking the initiative. So, and he thanked him for helping to shape the future. Okay. And these people have taken it upon themselves to shape our future. Now, we don't get any input into that. And that's not the plan, because they have already said on numerous occasions that they are the smartest people on the earth. They believe that without us, the earth that we will destroy the earth. So never mind the fact that prior to these people, we've done just fine. Okay. But they are now saying that we can't move forward without their leadership. Now, most of these people are Ivy League educated. Most of these people are wealthy Middle Easterners and wealthy Europeans. Okay, and of the so-called American elite that are involved with this, they mostly, in large part, come from the Ivy League. Okay, now, Schwab goes on to say, hold on, I'm going to play another piece here from Schwab.
I also want to congratulate Dubai for having organized such a successful World Expo, despite all the repercussions of the global pandemic. Last November, in partnership with His Excellency Mohammed Al-Gargawi, we brought together 60 top intellectual thinkers here in Dubai.
Okay, right there, he's talking about how they brought together 60 top intellectual thinkers into Dubai. Okay, so that shows you how Sheikh Mohammed is helping Klaus Schwab to spearhead this whole thing. And they are firm believers that a small number of so-called elite intellectuals are going to lead us into the future and beyond. These are the same people, ladies and gentlemen, that I told you about as it relates to they have decided that moving forward, human beings should grow half their normal size so that we, according to them, have less of an impact on the environment. Okay, this is the same people, this World Economic Forum, this Illuminati group. They have taken it upon themselves, unbeknownst to most of you, to do so many things behind the curtain. Okay, so what you see happening now, for example, when Joe Biden came into office and he waged his war against fossil fuels, and he immediately signed all these executive orders. And as soon as he did that, everything shifted. There was a paradigm shift. Everything shifted from the prosperity and abundance that we were experiencing as a result of Trump's presidency. Okay. Under Trump, we saw record numbers in every category with every group of people, regardless of race, etc. You understand? Right. And we had seen America was the most prosperous. This is a fact. You can go check this out. Than it had ever been in the history of the planet. Now, if the purpose, and one of their stated purposes is that they're going to lead us into the future and we're going to be prosperous. Okay. Right. Now, if that's the case, and we were the most prosperous under Trump, and we were energy independent, our nation was once again strong, why would their objective be to dismantle that and take a different direction? Okay. Right. Now, the reason why is because, number one, they're globalists. Number two, Trump was not aligned with their agenda. Their agenda was a Luciferian agenda. Okay. Their agenda was a one world government agenda. Right. Their agenda was based on the idea, the concept of climate change. okay, which is a lie. The climate's going to be just fine, as I've stated many times, until God comes back. And at that point in time, it's irrelevant, okay, because it's a wrap. Right. So these people tell us that they are about the prosperity and the well-being of the citizen. And most of the time, they're referring to the global citizen. Right. But it's a fact that during the Trump administration, not just in America, but globally, people were doing better. We did not have a global supply chain crisis, okay? Right. We were not talking about a global food shortage, okay? Right. We were not talking about a global energy crisis. Right. But and those were not issues under Trump. Right. Because globally, everybody was doing better than what they had been doing. Right. Now, all of a sudden, Biden comes in, he implements his dystopian policies through executive orders. Right. And these policies are based on climate change, war on fossil fuel, and this whole World Economic Forum / Illuminati agenda. So it should be obvious that they are not looking out for the well-being of the average man and woman in America or globally, because their policies have caused a crash globally. Right. Okay? Right. So the purpose of the crash is to implement a reset. Some call it the Great Reset. They want to reset us from this paradigm over into their paradigm. Right. Their paradigm is a Luciferian paradigm. They don't allow for Christ. They don't allow for God. They don't want that to be any part of their paradigm moving forward. Now, I'm going to play another video where they clearly state that, okay? Right. And the guy that's talking is part of the World Economic Forum. It's not Klaus Schwab. It's a different guy, and he happens to be, I won't give it up. I'll let him reveal that. So we're going to get to that, but not just yet. So keep in mind that we're going to talk about that eventually. Now, and I'm going to show you right out of their own mouths. Now, this World Economic Forum, they talk about, well, I'll let you listen to him.
Thank you to His Excellency for enabling this initiative to define a longer-term narrative to make the world more resilient, more inclusive, and more sustainable.
Now, he said, thank you, Your Excellency. He's referring to Sheikh Mohammed, who is the ruler of Dubai, one of the world's richest men. Right. He said that Sheikh Mohammed made this possible, talking about this forum and everything associated with the World Economic Forum, the Illuminati. Right. Now, he used 3 words that I think are significant. He said resilient, which means able to withstand. And what he's saying is they are trying to create a movement that is resilient and that it is able to withstand the enemy. Okay? Right. The enemy would be people like me, you, Trump, people that want to keep it as it was. Judeo-Christian based, non-global, countries retain their autonomy. We're not a one world order, anything. Right. And that's the way we want it. They don't want it that way. Right. So as they move us into their paradigm, into their reset, they're hoping that it will be resilient and that it can resist any attempts to be offset by us, right, the people that don't want this new paradigm. Right. Okay. Trump represents the old paradigm. The old paradigm. Now, because Trump has been so thoroughly demonized in America, the average person hearing this that's not a conservative is not going to understand this. They're not going to be able to relate to what I'm about to say. But Trump represents the old paradigm because Trump, and you can go and watch video and listen to what he said and then see evidence of it through his relationship with Israel and so on and so forth, and through the things that he implemented. Trump rejected this whole LGBTQ agenda, that movement. He rejected it. He rejected that in the military. He rejected that in the workplace, okay?
Right.
Trump rejected the enemies of Israel in the Middle East. Sheikh Mohammed will not do that, okay?
Right.
Sheikh Mohammed will not be and is not a friend of Israel, okay?
Right.
Sheikh Mohammed rejects Genesis through Revelations. So does Klaus Schwab and all of these people, okay?
Right.
George Soros, all these people involved with this World Economic Forum Illuminati, okay? So Trump to them, and conservatives and Christian conservatives, evangelicals, we're the enemy, okay?
Right.
If you're a follower of Christ, a believer in Christ, and you believe in the birth, the death, the resurrection, and the ascension, you are an enemy of the World Economic Forum. Now, most Black people vote Democrat, okay?
Right.
The political entity in America that serves as the tentacle for the World Economic Forum is the Democrat Party,
Right.
okay?
Right.
Most Black people in America profess to have this deep faith in Christ, profess to be Christian, okay?
Right.
And yet and still, they vote for the party that is basically the representative of the World Economic Forum Illuminati and their global agenda.
Right.
That agenda is being ran and has been ran through the Democrat Party. That's the reason why when Republicans win, the Democrats are so livid. But on the surface, they'll say they're livid because they claim erroneously that Republicans are racist. That's not what it is, because that's not true. They're livid because they know Republicans want to implement the Judeo-Christian standard. They don't want to abandon that,
Right.
okay? They want to stay with that because we understand, conservatives, we understand that that's what got us here to this point in America. That's how the United States has been able to be so successful. And then they'll use this lie, separation of church and state. You cannot find that anywhere in the Constitution or anything where there is a separation of church and state. I'm not saying that the United States is we're not the United States of America. Our values is based on Genesis to Revelations, okay?
Right.
Now, the satanic stuff that you see, the Luciferian activity and behavior that you see in America is coming from the left, okay?
Mm-hmm.
The left openly acknowledges their Luciferian ties. The left openly acknowledges their relationship with Moloch, okay?
Right.
And we talked about Moloch before. Moloch, the god of child sacrifice. The left, Democrats promote Planned Parenthood. They make sure that they're well-funded, okay? They're the ones out here arguing for a woman's right to abort babies, okay?
Right.
But that process is a sacrificing of children, okay? And these children are God's creation. So imagine how happy Lucifer, Satan, is when he has convinced a society to take God's creation, God's child, this pure, this innocent, defenseless child of God, created by God, and have him sacrificed on the altar of Moloch, who is the demon, Luciferian god of child sacrifice.
Right.
Now, you can rant and rave and run around here as some Black Christian, and I'm talking to Black people very specifically because percentage-wise, we're way out of order as it comes to the extermination of Black babies versus other races. You understand?
Right.
So I don't want to hear none of you chumps talk about, well, what about white women aborting babies? We're not talking about white women aborting babies. And when I say that, I'm not saying that those white babies have any less value. Not at all. You understand?
Right.
In my eyes, but more importantly in God's eyes, they all have the same value.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
They're all innocent and defenseless babies. So I'm going to talk, I'm going to have two parallel conversations here. I'm going to talk specifically to Black people, but then I'm going to talk specifically to Americans in general.
Right.
Okay? And I have to do that because of the way that the Democrat Party has created this whole race-based discussion unnecessarily.
Right.
Okay. So it has to be clear to any sound mind that if the World Economic Forum is pushing abortions, okay, is pushing God and Christ out of the schools, out of society, out of every aspect of our lives.
Right.
And politically in America, the Democrat Party is doing the same thing. They are working in conjunction, okay?
Right.
If you go back and you view recordings of the World Economic Forum, you're going to see the big supporters of the Democrat Party, former Democrat Party politicians. That's who you're going to see up there. There's no separating or distinguishing between the two.
Right.
Okay? They're not going to have Donald Trump there. Okay? They're not going to have him there. They're not going to have Vody Bakum there. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to have anybody that believes in the Judeo-Christian standard, anybody that believes in Genesis to Revelations. You're not welcome there.
Right.
Because they are very clear about the fact that the objective is to make each and every individual person a God in and unto themselves.
Right.
They are very clear about the fact when they're talking about, which we'll get to, the fourth industrial revolution, which is the meshing of technology, okay, and the human being and biology,
Right.
in order to create a individual that can never expire, okay?
Right.
And they have said that that individual will be a God and like God.
Right.
This isn't the Republican Party that's promoting this. This is the Democrat Party. The Republican Party isn't an entity of this. The Democrat Party is. So when you black dudes and you black gals out here proudly advocate for the Democrat Party, okay, and you say you're a proud progressive, a proud liberal, a proud Marxist, this is what you're saying. You're saying that you are a proud Luciferian.
Right.
You're saying that you are part of the same entity that waged war against God and tried to overthrow heaven.
Right.
You see them? You follow me?
Right.
Because that was Lucifer.
Right.
They're Luciferians. They're pushing the Luciferian agenda. I showed you all in a past episode the book where they praise Lucifer and give a shout out to him. And they say that they're going to try and follow the example that he gave them.
Right.
And y'all want to continue to play politics and support the Democrats and then act like you love God Almighty,
Right.
act like you in church worshiping,
Right.
act like you going to the polls the first Tuesday in November doing the right thing,
Right.
all because somebody told you that Trump and conservatives and Republicans were racist.
Right.
And if you bother to thoroughly investigate that and block out everything that your buddies have said and might say, that your mother and father have said and might say, that your grandma and grandpa have said and might say, and investigate for yourself, you will then come to the same conclusion that I have here.
Right.
And it's no secret. Okay?
Right.
They don't even try to hide it, but they take for granted that you're so stupid and so uninterested in the truth and so interested in your own little lives that you'll never take the time to even take a cursory glance and try to discover what's really going on.
Right.
They take you for granted, and they should. Okay?
Right.
Y'all can be butthurt. I'm talking to you black people. You can be butthurt, but white people too. But in particular, you black people, and in particular, you black women, because y'all are the most resilient and reliable voting bloc for the Democrat Luciferian Party.
Right.
Okay? They count on black people, but black women more than anybody. Okay?
Right.
They know if they need a vote, if they need something done, you go to these black women, and black women will die for them.
Right.
Okay? Who are they dying for? Lucifer.
Right.
Luciferians.
Right.
And these people that are behind this World Economic Forum, these people that are running the elite on the left in the Democrat Party, they're all white elite liberals.
Right.
But if you listen to the conversation of these black folk, they have this very anti-white conversation, right? You hear them.
Right.
So why are you out here doing the bidding of the liberal white elite, aka World Economic Forum, Democrat Party, the Luciferians, progressives, liberals? You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Now listen, I'm gonna let me play a little more Klaus Schwab.
With all the current issues on our agenda, we tend to forget that we are in the midst of the fourth industrial revolution, which accelerates.
He's a little difficult to understand because of his strong German accent.
Right.
He's German.
Right.
And he said we're in the fourth industrial revolution. And as I just said a minute ago, the fourth industrial revolution is the merging of technology and biology, where they literally believe that they can cause humans to live forever and thereby, according to them, become gods.
Right.
Now, how can you be a supporter of these people, okay, and the Democrat Party, because they're one and the same,
Right.
when they're saying that they're going to supersede God and make you God and cause you to live forever?
Right.
Okay? This is what they say. Well, hold on.
Global change in much more comprehensive and faster ways than the previous three revolutions.
Now listen, he talked about global change faster. Let me tell you how they expedited the process of global change, how they did just what he said, made it happen faster. When they stole the 2020 election, which, if you are a learned individual and you've done the due diligence and the research and you ignore the lies and deceit coming from CNN, you know that it is a fact that that election was stolen because they sent out ballots to all households in several states. Households shouldn't get ballots. Registered voters get ballots. If I have a state with 10 million households and I send out a ballot to each one of those 10 million households, well, we know that in some of those households, you have illegals, non-citizens, and non-registered individuals. As a matter of fact, the vast majority of people in any state fit into those three categories: non-citizens, illegals, non-registered to vote individuals. Because you know, like I know, every election turnout is very low.
Right.
Okay? Far less than 50%. So their plan was, we're going to make sure everybody gets a ballot.
Right.
We're going to make sure that we break the laws and allow everybody to vote. And also throughout the election process at night, numerous times, these same states that were brought into question that did this kept stopping the count.
Right.
Now, how can it be that these same swing states continuously stop the count? And when they resume the count, we see votes coming down in favor of Biden to the tune of 90%.
Mm-hmm.
That makes no sense.
Right.
Okay? Anybody that wants to be intellectually honest has to agree that there was a scam going on. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Mathematicians have looked at this and said that it is mathematically impossible for those things to have happened, for the count to have gone the way that it went that night.
Right.
But we won't ignore that. But the left is always saying, follow the science. A mathematician is a scientist.
Right.
But they didn't want to follow their science when they explained to us that this was impossible mathematically.
Right.
We know that the most reliable thing in science is numbers,
Right.
but they want to ignore that. Okay?
Right.
What's just as reliable, I would argue, is what we see and hear. We see the count stopping. We find out that they sent ballots to all the homes. This was never supposed to happen.
Right.
That's un-American. Let me tell you that. I'm going to get back to Klaus Schwab. Let me tell you what that means. Black people and white liberal Democrats are always talking about voter suppression. Am I right?
Right.
If you let illegals and unregistered people vote, isn't that suppressing the vote of the voter that is actually registered to vote?
Right.
I got to say that again because there's going to be some people that eventually watch this that are pathetic, that are weak, that are disingenuous, and that are led by the spirit of this Luciferian agenda. Okay?
Right.
And they don't want to acknowledge that. Well, I don't have to say it again. They know what it is. Let me tell you something. You can be intellectually dishonest all you want, but it's only going to result in your demise.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
You can ignore it until you can't ignore it anymore.
Right.
Okay?
Then it's too late.
Then it's too late. Okay, so let me play Mr. Schwab a little more.
I'm proud that the government of Dubai has been so foresighted in establishing a center for the fourth industrial revolution.
I'm just going to pause it real quick. He said the government of Dubai, didn't I tell you that Sheikh Mohammed is the ruler
Right.
and he's the absolute ruler?
Right.
So there's no point in him saying the government of Dubai.
Right.
He just needs to say Sheikh Mohammed.
Right.
Okay? And he just needs to say, he needs to thank Sheikh Mohammed for this.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
Because Sheikh Mohammed, his ultimate goal is to be the leader of the whole world.
Right.
Okay, see, newsflash, people, this Sheikh Mohammed, ruler of Dubai, his ultimate goal via the World Economic Forum and global government is to be the absolute ruler of the planet.
Right.
Nobody has told you this. Let me continue on because we're going to get
In
back to Sheikh.
cooperation with the World Economic Forum. The objective is to quickly recognize the potential of new technologies as well as develop the necessary ethical and political frameworks around those new technologies to ensure that those technologies are human-centered and society-oriented.
Now, see, they're good at sugarcoating and candy coating. He said to make sure that they are human-centered, okay?
Right.
And to the untrained mind and ear, that sounds good. Oh, you want to make sure that this is human-centered, centered around me? Therefore, they're going to translate, oh, it's in my best interest. That's the hook. That's one of the many hooks
Right.
to get you to bite,
Right.
okay? And most people are going to bite because they see it as somebody doing something for them on their behalf,
Right.
exerting their energy and effort and resources on their behalf when they're not really doing that because most people want something for free.
Right.
Ladies and gentlemen, what they're going to give you for free is pure dystopianism.
But
The world has to overcome not only the damage done to our economies and our societies by COVID-19, it also has to confront the repercussions of a dangerous clash between major global powers. History is truly at a turning point. We do not yet know the full extent.
He said history is truly at a turning point. History is truly at a turning point only because these people are trying to turn it right here on this point,
right.
on a dime,
Right.
into this dystopian Luciferian thing, that this dream that they have.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
History is only turning right now in the way that it's turning because they have initiated the turn, the reset,
Right.
this global reset.
Right.
And in order for this global reset to happen, they have to destroy America's autonomy. You see what I'm saying? Because you can't have the globe and then you have the United States remaining autonomous because they need our wealth, they need our resources, and they need the ultimate destruction of our military because they know that that is the only thing militarily that can suppress this.
Right.
So you can't have this strong, autonomous, independent, powerful America out here and at the same time accomplish this global agenda that they want to accomplish. So they have to bring America under their control, which they're doing by infiltrating us through politics, in particular the American Democrat Party. Go ahead.
But they already showed America in the movies about this, but they didn't pay it no attention.
I would agree. There's plenty of Hollywood entertainment out there that exposes this.
But it's a major one, like Captain America.
Okay.
they always talk about Hail Hydra. Those are Germans
Mhm.
doing the same thing
That this cat is doing, and he's German.
Right.
And who has to save everything? Captain Who.
America.
And we, ladies and gentlemen, this may sound corny to some of you that aren't true patriots, but we are Captain America. You're Captain America because you want to save America and keep America as it is. We don't want to be blended into this global community, into this one world, new world order government. We don't want any part of that. That's the reason why they were so set against Donald Trump building the wall.
Right.
Because that wall represented the fact that America was to remain autonomous.
Right.
Okay. And these globalists are against that. So they have to come out against Trump and the wall. But these people all live with walls around their homes
Right.
and security.
Right.
See, they want their autonomy.
Right.
They want their independence, but they want all of us normal, everyday Joes and Janes to give our autonomy, our independence up, to forfeit that up. And part of that is they want to, as you hear them talk about all the time, they know they have to remove the 500, 600 million guns from the American citizens out of our hands, okay? Because that is the last line of defense to these globalists that want to subject us to their dystopian agenda. Go ahead.
But they have a 10 Commandment in Georgia that they want the population down from 6 billion to 500 million.
Yeah, I saw that. I heard about that. No, and which we know that, you know, that you have the people that believe in population control. And what they believe is ultimately they believe that there's too many human inhabitants on the earth. And they believe that we are infringing upon the earth. And they basically worship the earth in some sick way. And so they want the earth's population reduced so that it is more sustainable. They use that term sustainable, but it is sustainable as it is. Okay. But this is because they want to get rid of what they deem to be the less desirables. Okay. Which ties into Margaret Sanger and her eugenics movement and getting rid of the black people as well as the white less desirables.
Right.
See, people often talk about and refer to Margaret Sanger, but they leave out a very important piece. She didn't just want to annihilate and eliminate all blacks. She was adamant about weeding out many Caucasians that they deemed to be unworthy.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
whether they were Caucasians that were lower class from Appalachia, or whether they were Caucasians that were had mental deficiencies and physical problems and so on and so forth. They didn't want them. But where else did you see that kind of activity? In Nazi Germany.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Klaus is really just an extension and a reinvention of that very Nazi Germany thing.
Right.
Okay? He wants a new world order. Hitler wanted a new world order.
Right.
Hitler wanted this new world order Aryan nation, okay? This pure-bred, pure-blooded nation of people, right?
Right.
They're saying the same thing when they want to eliminate the undesirables, the mentally handicapped, the physically challenged, and so on and so forth. This is all in their agenda. And people can't even see this because, in particular, black people in America can't see it because what they did was they said, we can distract the black people with race. Okay?
Right.
We know they're sensitive about race.
Right.
So we're going to just feed them racism all day, every day. And they'll come out in support for us because we'll say the other guys are racist. Come roll with us.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
We got you. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And black people bought that hook, line, and sinker. Not realizing that it's just a trap, a trick to get black people, unbeknownst to them, into supporting this World Economic Forum, Illuminati, Luciferian dystopian agenda.
Right.
We claim to be kings and queens. You hear it all day long.
Right.
You see it online. They talk king, queen. I didn't know. I thought that kings and queens were much more intelligent,
Right.
much more astute. I thought the kings and queens could navigate through those murky waters and not be so easily deceived. But the whole idea, this whole concept that we're kings and queens is bullshit. it's a feel-good story. You know, they tell black people this, it comes from back in the 60s, I'm black and I'm proud. They tell black people this so that they will feel some kind of way about themselves, okay? And it's a shame. It's a shame that we're so childlike that we run around with this childlike mentality talking about we're kings and queens while we exterminate our babies, okay?
Right.
While we vote for the party that is all into exterminating our babies, okay, and us. Absolutely. Well, that's, get it. If you're not producing a seed, eventually you're out of here.
Right.
Now, man, let me play Schwab a little more. Please, I really hope that people are following along with this and that they're getting this.
Extent and the systemic and structural changes which will happen. However,
he says systemic and structural changes that will happen. You hear the confidence? He's confident that they're going to impose these structural and systemic changes. And he has every reason to be, because right now, the guy that we had in there that bought us some time in this whole battle, they threw him out.
Right.
They lied on him. Russia collusion. They created all these stories of and so on and so forth to try and paint a bad picture of him and turn people against him to get him out of the way.
Right.
They began day one. They actually started when he was running.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, this dude is confident, and he's over here in Davos, Switzerland, speaking with confidence because Biden's in office.
Right.
That's their guy.
Right.
That's their puppet. That's their mannequin.
Right.
And through him, they're doing everything that they want to do.
Right.
we do know that global energy systems, food systems, and supply chains will be deeply affected.
Stop. He said, hold on. He said the global energy, global food, and supply chain systems will be greatly impacted. He's telling you that this shit is going to crash. Okay? When Trump left office, Biden assumed office, what crashed?
Everything.
Energy,
Everything.
food, and supply chain. Are we currently experiencing an energy crisis?
Yes, we are.
You see the price of gas, right?
Right.
You see the price of food, right?
Right.
And you see that we have the ship stuck out in the water and the supply chain and the shelter. He just told you that,
Right.
okay? Because they set this up. These are the same people that believe in and have said, never let a good crisis go to waste. So if I'm looking for a crisis,
Right.
I'm already demonic for wanting a crisis.
Right.
And if I see a crisis as an opportunity, these people do,
Right.
then I will manufacture a crisis
Right.
to manufacture an opportunity
Right.
to usher in my dystopian agenda,
Right.
my ungodly Luciferian agenda. But you people can't see this, in particular you Negroes, because you're so bought in to worshiping race, your skin. It's nothing more than melanin. It is not brain matter. It cannot think, it cannot reason, it cannot rationalize. A mind does not have a color.
Right.
But these fools believe it does. And they're so arrogant. Let me tell you why black folk are so arrogant. Because they think that white people, in particular white conservatives, white Republicans, are out to get them. You're not that significant.
Right.
Okay? I don't have to be out to get you because I see how you do a great job of getting and destroying yourself. So even if I was out to get you, I wouldn't waste my time
Right.
with it because you're taking care of that for me.
Right.
I would focus my time on accumulating wealth and creating a better situation for myself. And I'll let you Negroes do what you do,
Right.
which is eliminate one another.
Right.
Mike, that made me think about the video where they were shooting downtown a couple weeks ago.
Right.
Okay, which we might get to that. But let me play Schwab a little more. This modern day Hitler in a suit. Okay,
Right.
he done packaged himself so that people think he's some intellectual genius that is really about the improvement of society and society's system and the individual.
Right.
He's not. He's a devil.
Right.
Let's go.
In times of crisis, the role of governments is more important and more relevant than ever. What is also needed is a summit like this one to go beyond crisis management and to look into constructive ways we can build our common future. Our futures are intrinsically connected to one another, as the profound challenges to mankind, such as climate change, are globally interconnected and require collaborative responses.
You see, they're going to keep referring to climate change because climate change, that concept, that erroneous, false, non-existent concept, you know, doom and gloom, the world's going to end if we don't do something wrong.
Right.
That's bullshit.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, but that's their boogeyman,
Yeah.
and that's the engine that's driving all this. Okay,
Right.
then there's other engines, but the main engine is climate change.
Right.
The whole concept of race and racism is another one of their engines that they leverage, that they use to bring about this change by scaring people. And what they really want to do is see part of the breaking down of America, part of their plan from infiltrating and taking over America from within is to use race and black folk and get black folk upset and carrying on so that they can destabilize
Right.
America. Okay.
Right.
And now they drug in so-called brown people.
Right.
Let's get the brown people upset and angry.
Right.
Let's get the black people upset and angry. Let's cause chaos and disturbance
Right.
so that we can say that we got to redo everything. We got to overhaul the system. We got to implement this new system.
Right.
And now they drug the LGBTQ into it.
Right.
Okay, we got to bring them into this
Right.
and use them. And let's convince them that they're a victim. Let's convince them that they're unhappy. Let's convince them that they're excluded. And we got them angry. So they got this LGBTQ chip on their shoulder. Black people got this black chip on their shoulder. Brown people, so-called brown people, got this chip on their shoulder. And who do you see out in the streets rioting and protesting, causing chaos and disruption? The three groups I just named,
Right.
along with Antifa.
Right.
Okay. And Antifa is more representative of the young white liberals, okay, that have been indoctrinated in the universities
Mm-hmm.
to believe in this whole agenda, this whole movement.
Right.
So they got all the groups covered. They got the LGBTQ 100% bought in, sold in for this, sold out to this. They got the black people, 90% of them. They got the brown people, 70% of them, okay? And they got a large number of the white youth, okay, via the indoctrination mills, the universities that have gotten them subscribed to this whole agenda, okay? And those are the people that were rioting for 6 months over George Floyd. You understand?
Right.
Burning down stuff. But that wasn't an assault on America.
Right.
Remember, nobody cared.
Right.
People were dying, billions of dollars in property damage. But that wasn't an assault on America, according to these people. Go ahead.
You know how they getting all these people involved, but they left out a group, so they started attacking them on the slide.
Who?
The Orientals.
Let me tell you something. We're going to briefly touch on that, but I'm going to tell you why that's interesting that you say that. I saw an article where Asians, and when I say I'm not including people from India in this,
Right.
because they've bought into this hook, line, and sinker.
Right.
I'm talking about Upper Asia,
Right.
minus the Chinese
Right.
and the North Koreans.
Right.
But I'm talking about Asians from Taiwan, Japan, Thailand, Singapore, those places. They are beginning to subscribe to conservatism. They are beginning to subscribe to patriotism. They are beginning to subscribe to the Judeo-Christian way. Okay.
Right.
Now, this was not expected. Okay. But let me tell you where they're attacking the Asians just one way. And I've mentioned this in a previous video. The Ivy League schools have began to discriminate against the Asians because they have been doing so well they've been getting all the scholarships.
Mhm.
So don't they? They're a minority. They qualify as a brown, yellow person. They're a minority, right?
Right.
They're non-white.
Right.
But the white liberals that run these institutions have said that they are the wrong type of minority. Therefore, they don't want them getting all of the scholarships, merit-based scholarships that these people have earned.
Right.
It's not a bad thing that those Asians put education high up
Right.
and they excel at that.
Right.
Any other group of people could do it if they made that their focus.
Right.
But those Asians have done that.
Right.
But according to the white liberals, they're Democrats. they're they believe that they're the wrong type of minority. Therefore, they're saying you can no longer get all these scholarships because we got to get some of these blacks and these browns in here. But remember, a scholarship is supposed to be merit-based,
Right.
performance-based,
Right.
not race-based, not gender-based. Okay?
Right.
And you can't say, well, I'm black, I come from an oppressed people, nothing like that, because any black kid right now sitting in his room doing his homework, he can achieve to the same levels that those Asians do because he has everything right there, access to everything that can allow him to do that. The internet, he has all that technology around him, the computers, he has access to his teachers at school, okay, tutors, et cetera, et cetera. We all have access to this now. There's no excuse. But that's what they're doing to the Asians. And, that's racist. That's the liberal left exercising racism towards these Asians.
Oh, yeah.
Let's hear Klaus, because he's about done, and we're going to move on to.
In conclusion,
And
despite all the challenges, we have to uphold our responsibility.
He said, I'm going to let it go. He said, despite all the challenges, I pointed out in a book, they really only see one thing as their challenge. Their primary challenge is they have to remove the Judeo-Christian God from everything.
Right.
They want us to not believe in him.
Right.
They want us to not worship him.
Right.
They want us to take that Bible and get rid of it.
Right.
And they don't just talk about that. They don't just say that. They've written that down. And we know back during Obama's second term, when he was running the second time, you can go online and watch where they had the public vote at the Democrat Party National Convention, and they voted to put God out of their platform, Christ Jesus out of their platform. That's a matter of public video record. You can go watch it.
Mhm.
Of the people that voted for Obama and vote Democrat, how many you think saw that?
No.
Okay.
Which we have towards the next generation, and which we can only fulfill through collaboration on a national and on a global level. I wish you an impactful and successful meeting.
Look up there. Let me pause this. You see it in English? Up there it says World Government Summit in English. Next to it, it's in Arabic. That's because of Sheikh Mohammed. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now, let me say this, Mike. You remember he mentioned Sheikh Mohammed numerous times, right?
Right.
And he gave continuous thanks to Sheikh Mohammed for making all of this possible, right?
Right.
And Sheikh Mohammed is the absolute ruler of Dubai, right?
Right.
He's one of the world's wealthiest men.
Right.
And I told you that his ultimate goal is to be the head of not just this World Economic Forum, but this global one world, new world order government.
Right.
Okay. Sheikh Mohammed is a horrible guy. Besides the obvious fact, because he's tied in with this, let me tell you something about this guy.
Did he kill that reporter?
No, that's not him. This Sheikh Mohammed, he has multiple wives, okay?
Right.
And that is the opposite of the nuclear family, which is one man, one woman, one wife, and kids.
Right.
He has multiple wives,
Right.
polygamy,
Right.
maybe even polyamorous activity. So right there, he's the exact opposite of the Judeo-Christian standard.
Right.
Okay. He kidnapped his daughter. Okay. That's a long story. Hold on. This is the guy that they're praising and who's one of the primary engine behind this World Economic Forum. Okay. The Illuminati. Another daughter accused him of abuse and of murdering numerous people and said that he was responsible for the murder of one of his daughter-in-laws. Because, see, this man is about control.
Right.
Okay? And if he can't control you, you're not going to conform, it's better to dispose of you. He's making that obvious.
Right.
Also, Princess Haya, which was one of his wives, she escaped from him. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
She got out of there. And she was a victim of a forced arranged marriage. She didn't want to be married to this guy, but she was forced into it. Okay?
Right.
And that's why she escaped. That's why she got out of there.
Right.
This is the Sheikh Mohammed who's behind all this so-called wonderfulness.
Right.
This so-called World Economic Forum wonderfulness. This whole new global agenda. Okay?
Right.
He also was involved in a child camel jockey scandal. You know they race camels over there, right? Like we race thoroughbreds.
Right.
Well, let me tell you what he was involved in. They were abducting kids from Pakistan, non-Arabs. He's an Arab, non-Arab. He made sure that he didn't abduct Arab kids.
Right.
Pakistan, Sudan, black.
Right.
Mauritania, black.
Right.
But Arabs controlled Mauritania.
Right.
So it was easy for him to get them black kids as slaves out of Mauritania because blacks in Mauritania are under the thumb
Right.
of the Arabs that control the country and oppress the blacks.
Right.
This is a country in Africa,
Right.
just like the Sudan.
Right.
And Bangladesh, once again, non-Arab.
Right.
So we see his racism, the Sheikh Mohammed,
Right.
who Klaus Schwab is continuously praising.
Right.
We see his racism towards blacks, Africans, and these other non-Arab peoples.
People of color.
He deems them to be worthy of what? Slavery,
Right.
abduction and slavery.
Right.
Black people in America cry that we were abducted and enslaved.
Right.
Yet they vote Democrat, and the Democrat Party is the American political wing of Klaus Schwab, the Economic Forum, World Economic Forum, and Sheikh Mohammed.
Right.
You see the contradiction?
Right.
Hold on. You know that they practice pedophilia. Those Arabs over there.
Right.
Now they hang homosexuals.
Right.
They throw them off of buildings,
Right.
and they do all these horrible things to homosexuals.
Right.
And I'm against homosexuality, but I'm not in favor of killing them. That's insane.
Right.
So we know that the Arabs and the Sheikh type and all those people over there in the Middle East, they believe in killing these homosexuals, and they do it every day.
Right.
But they're the economic engine, the primary economic engine behind this World Economic Forum.
Right.
They're more than just the economic engine, but I'm just making that clear.
Right.
And we understand that the Democrat Party, who the homosexuals and the blacks vote for, is an extension of Klaus Schwab, the World Economic Forum, and the Sheikh Mohammed and their whole global agenda thing.
Right.
You see the contradiction?
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, they're voting for their eventual own destruction.
Right.
Okay, hold on. But see, I'm a fool. I'm crazy. Don't nobody want to listen to me. My own family and friends. Then here's the thing, Mike. If your friend comes to you and tells you something, you're definitely going to take it into account because you respect what he's saying. It's your friend. Well, if he's saying this, at the very least, I got to look into this. At the very least, I got to hear him out because he wouldn't be telling me something that's going to work against me. He's my friend. Okay?
Right.
But these black people love to be in your face talking about brother this, brother that. Hold on. Which is another way of saying friend. But when you want to tell them something important like this, that unfortunately for them goes against what they've been told, what they've been lied to about, they don't want to hear you. They reject you. They'll even become belligerent and angry with you, and oftentimes they're even willing to hurt you.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
But these are the same people's brother. That's the reason why I don't like that brother shit.
Right.
Because they're full of shit.
Right.
But you'll turn on CNN and MSNBC and you'll listen to the white liberals on there telling you everything that they want to tell you. And then when I see you and I tell you the opposite thing, you ready to go to blows with me.
Right.
And then check this out. But I'm your brother, remember? So that's the reason why I say all that brother stuff is fraudulent. They're full of shit.
Right.
So when I hear them say it casually in the streets, I hate that. Because I know they don't know what a brother is.
Right.
They don't even know how to be a brother.
Right.
Okay? And furthermore, you can't be my brother because you have melanin.
Right.
You can be my biological brother, or you have to be my brother in Christ.
Right.
Only real brothers.
Right.
Now, if they are abducting thousands of kids into slavery, and these kids, this is Sheikh Mohammed and his boys, and the World Economic Forum, they're all together, and they are enslaving these kids and forcing them to be child jockeys, and we know that they practice pedophilia, then it's super safe to say that they're using these kids for something more than just riding on the back of a damn camel. I'm telling you that they're riding on the backs of these boys,
Right.
quite literally,
Right.
because we know that they practice pedophilia. And our American soldiers in the Middle East, we already knew it, but they've seen it.
Right.
They've detailed it. And they've come back home talking about how they will kill homosexuals and at the same time screw boys
Right.
and little girls.
Right.
And then you hear, let's talk black again. They love to talk about the Arab guys as their Arab brother. That's your brother? Screwing little boys and little girls? Let me tell you something, man. Before I turn this page, I just need to reiterate for anybody black that might watch this, but this goes for everybody. Remember, you pro-black people, you pro-black and you talk about the atrocities of slavery, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But you supporting this directly and indirectly. Okay, let's cover it both.
Right.
You supporting the abduction and slavery of little black boys and girls from Mauritania. And I've met plenty of people from Mauritania. I know about Mauritania and what's going on there. And little black boys and girls, boys from Sudan. So the Sheikh and his people, who are behind the World Economic Forum and behind Klaus Schwab and behind the American Democrat Party, have the blood and the behinds of these little boys, African black boys, stained on them, and y'all still support the American Democrat Party, which is an extension of these demonic pedophile devils. The problem here, Mike, is black people don't like to pull back the layers. They don't want to go deep.
No.
Because they're afraid of what might be revealed. Okay? Because they're afraid of having to admit that they were wrong, that mama and daddy were wrong, and that grandma and grandpa were wrong. And if they have to admit that they're wrong, what they ultimately have to admit that they were very racist, because they have the position that they have because they are racist towards whites, in particular, white conservatives. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
That's what So we're going to, now it's going to go to another level right here. Oh, let me mention this. The Sheikh,
Right.
that we're talking about, that he kept mentioning, Klaus Schwab kept mentioning.
Right.
He also owns horse stables in Versailles, Kentucky, right down the road, Lexington.
Mm-hmm.
He's very heavy into the thoroughbred horse industry.
Mm-hmm.
And he was caught in a steroid scandal, cheating, injecting the horses.
Right.
Now, I just laid out all this stuff about the sheik. It's obvious that he's a horrible dude. But they give him legitimacy. Klaus Schwab, the Democrats, the World Economic Forum, which is the Illuminati. They're pulling the strings. The sheik is.
Right.
He's pulling the strings all the way here in America.
Right.
Through the Democrat Party. He's pushing this agenda. Now, the homosexuals are running out there with their pink tutus on. Okay? Vote Democrat, 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 that, Democrat, that. Okay?
Right.
At the end of the day, these are the same people that are killing them in the Middle East.
Right.
So if they get this global control that they're looking for, are they going to stop exterminating them?
Nope.
Okay. So they're voting for their own death and destruction,
Exactly.
just like the Negroes,
Exactly.
just like the Browns.
Exactly.
Okay. Now, we're gonna turn this page because we got to touch on this, which I already kind of went on it. The Arab Middle East, the pedophilia, the wealth, and their wealth is financing the World Economic Forum and the American Left Movement, which is the Democrats in America. It's their money.
Right.
The Clintons got a lot of money from the Middle East.
Right.
And other people. All this that we're talking about, this World Economic Forum, this new dystopian society that they want to create, this new agenda, this great reset, some people call it the brave new world. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
They're going to give us this brave new world, according to them.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a book out from the 30s by Mr. Huxley, Adolphus Huxley, I think is how you say his name, called Brave New World, where they lay out this whole dystopian agenda
Mm-hmm.
and how it's going to go down. And it's very consistent with a lot of the things that they're doing medically and / scientifically,
Mm-hmm.
which we won't go into right now. So there's no arguing, okay?
Right.
So they want to create this brave new world. But under the banner of this brave new world, as you can see here, this brave new world, which is front and center within the Democrat Party,
Right.
okay? This brave new world, global agenda, new world order, one world government, climate change agenda is all encompassed in the American Democrat Party. They're carrying this forward, okay?
Right.
This so-called brave new world. And some of the things I'm going to mention, we've already established and shown.
Right.
But all of this I'm going to name is embodied in this brave new world. And I might not name everything on the list, and because I'm going to get to some other stuff. Pedophilia, we already outlined that, but there's other ways to outline it.
Right.
Homosexuality, transgenderism. This is all part of the brave new world, this brave new Democrat Party agenda new world that the blacks are voting for to the tune of 90+%. But they love Christ. Men having babies, that whole concept, okay, which is some ignorant ass shit. This is what y'all voted for. This is what y'all back the first Tuesday in November because y'all against racism that ain't even there.
Right.
This racist boogeyman. You can't deny none of this. This is in their writings. This is in their speeches. This is in their books. This is what they back all this. Your American Democrat Party. The fourth industrial revolution, which is the merging of biology and technology, technology with your human biology, making you live forever, making you being the real God. This is what they have stated.
Right.
But y'all believe in God, Christ Jesus, but you voting for people who saying that he don't exist and that you're going to eventually be God.
Right.
Via the fourth industrial revolution where they merge technology with your biology, make you live forever and be a God. Situational ethics, which means anything goes in the moment. You can't dispute it. You can't argue it. If I want to do it, it's good. There's no right, there's no wrong. Okay?
Right.
Does the Bible teach that? It teaches a right and a wrong.
Oh, yeah.
They're saying ain't no right or no wrong.
Oh, no.
Okay. But these black Christians vote for this.
Right.
They created this idea in our black minds that we're victims. If I can convince a group of people that they're victims, they can never be nothing more than a victim.
Right.
A victim will always wait on a savior. A victim will not save themselves.
Right.
And nobody's coming to save you. They will create the perception that they're going to save you and dangle it there, but never let you obtain that salvation,
Right.
which they can't provide anyway.
Right.
Okay? That comes from one place. They created a new church, a new faith, where debauchery is the faith. Debaucherous activity. They worship transgenderism. They worship homosexuality. They worship all these things in this new church that they've created. The destruction of fossil fuel. This is all. That's why your gas is so high.
Right.
Because they're trying to destroy fossil fuel and they want to eliminate the use of the fossil fuels.
Right.
And y'all go to the grocery store and you pay all this high fuel price to get to the grocery store, then the food's high, okay, and y'all ain't even complaining.
Right.
At least we ain't got Trump in there no more.
Right.
You monkeys. Thought I was going to make it through the episode without saying that? No. And we forgot to ring the Liberty Bell. Let freedom ring bell. They want to disarm the individual. Why? If you're disarmed, I can take you over. These black people running around, let me say this real quick. 99.99% of black people running around this country right now, and any of you people that watch this, y'all don't know, look at me. The bill that Biden just passed creates 87,000 new IRS agents, okay?
Mm-hmm.
They have bought state-of-the-art firearms for these new agents and purchased 5 million rounds of ammunition and counting. Don't believe me? Go check it out. It's not even the secret. Now, why didn't they create 87,000 new border agents to protect our border?
Right.
And allow us to remain autonomous?
Right.
And to protect us from all of that influx of these illegals. They're illegals and not fucking immigrants from rushing our borders, creating chaos on so many different levels. Hold on. Let me say this real quick. If I'm going to create 87,000 new IRS agents, give them guns and mad ammunition, and it even says, listen, you can go look it up. They tell the agents to be prepared to use force, to use these firearms against people. What people? The only people they can use against the American public, you and me.
Right.
So now they've doubled it to 170,000 armed IRS agents. Who would have ever thought that the IRS was going to become an army, a civilian army? Pause. When Barack Obama was running, he said, I want to create a new military force, a civilian military force, well-armed and even more well-equipped than our current military. It's a fact. Go play the video. Go look it up and turn off whatever you're doing. I just told you, and you can go look it up. Who has the balls to do it? Go watch Obama say it when he was running. I'm going to play it. I'm going to get it, and I'm going to play it next time we in here. For you monkeys. Now listen. Obama said that's what he was going to create, okay?
Right.
We just saw the manifestation of that, right?
Right.
Through Biden's administration. These 87,000 additional, creating 170,000 armed civilian army, okay?
Right.
That he said he was going to create. So who's running the White House? Obama.
Obama.
Now, how is he running it? Through his surrogates, that some of them used to be in his administration, mainly Susan Rice. Susan Rice, who was a part of Obama's administration, you want to know what her job is in Biden's administration? You're not even ready for this. But before I tell you this, y'all keep in mind, Susan Rice worked for Obama. Obama said he was going to create this civilian force to work against us. Go watch the video. He then put Susan Rice into Biden's administration. She has a position. Now, the IRS is a civilian force to work domestically, right?
Right.
Against us here domestically, right?
Right.
Obama's surrogate, his plant in the Biden administration, let me give you her title. Chair of the Domestic Policy Council. You niggas better wake up. Okay? Somebody got to be on the inside to see to it that this was done.
Right.
Susan Rice. She's over domestic policy. The creation of 87,000 additional heavily armed IRS agents, and they're buying millions and millions of bullets to be this domestic army that Obama said he was going to create, didn't get to do in his 8 years, was able to do it in Biden's first 2.
Right.
And Susan Rice is making sure everything goes as planned because she's the head of Domestic Policy Council. Now, they'll tell you that this Domestic Policy Council has this job. I mean, we to do this, and that. They'll conveniently, of course, they're not going to let you know that they're behind that too.
Okay.
But that's domestic policy.
Right.
Better wake up. You can be offended by me calling you a monkey. You can be offended by anything I say, but you better wake up. You better not be so sensitive. Stop being simps and move past these words. Okay, let's go to. They create this whole non-binary. You know, that means I ain't no sex. I ain't this. I ain't that. I'm nothing.
Right.
This is what y'all vote for. This is all the stuff I'm naming is what your party, the Democrat Party, Biden, Clinton, Obama. This is what they put out. World Economic Forum. This is their stuff. The inflaming and provocation of blacks to destabilize society. That's why they played George Floyd over and over again 1 million times. And the psychological effect of that, which they don't even know, is the black minds no longer see George Floyd. They begin to see 1 million different. When you show somebody that same image over and over, they don't see that singular individual dying right there. Their mind translate that into multiple 1 million separate entities, black individuals dying right there, which he didn't even die from the knee. He died from the cocktail of drugs and fentanyl that he had in his system.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
That's why he was hollering about he couldn't breathe.
Right.
Okay. But they don't want to deal with that because black people, they got to have their narrative of George Floyd representing every black man being that victim.
Right.
And this is the same man that was robbing women, pregnant women at gunpoint, putting guns to their bellies. And they seem to forget that the cops only showed up because of George Floyd's lifestyle. He was committing a crime that caused him to show up.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
I didn't say he deserved to die,
Right.
but I say he earned it, the right to die that day, through his lifestyle that he had been living and never stopped living. But they love to say he was changing his life. You're a lie. How in the hell can he been in the process of changing his life when the police came to the scene as a result of criminal activity?
Right.
And his whole life has been criminal activity. So he wasn't changing shit.
Right.
And there's so much up here that I don't even want to go through, but I do want to go through. And I see Eric Mann's name up there. And he's responsible for all these black women that you see in these positions of leadership. And the reason why Eric Mann and the Democrat Party have planted all these black mayors and district attorneys and all these prominent positions is because they know that that is their most reliable voting base, and they know that they can control them.
Right.
Okay, and I explained that to you last time, and it hasn't even made it to you yet. So listen, we're gonna real quick. The ultimate goal, what they're doing, they're creating social chaos, ethical chaos, moral chaos, financial chaos, and political chaos, so that they can say the system doesn't work. We got to scrap it and start new, which is their whole agenda.
Right. Love.
Now, we're going to switch to something else right quick. And I'm shortening all this because we could do 3 hours easy with no commercials. I don't even have commercials. I can do 3 hours like it's nothing. Okay, real quick. Over here on my board, Mike, I have a list of names. And I'm gonna show some videos, so I'm gonna move through this kind of quickly. But I want to start with this list of names. It's a list of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 women. These are black women. No, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have a list of 9 black women. They all hold prominent political positions. They were all appointed by Biden. And you heard Biden repeatedly say several times, I'm going to put a black woman in this position. Not even considering a black man, a black woman. Why? Because that's their most reliable voting bloc, and they know that they can control them. They don't want to have to deal with the idea of appointing black men, then all of a sudden realize they can't control this man because he's done stumbled upon the truth. They got a problem on their hands. And if a black man in these prominent positions stumbles upon the truth, they can't control him. He's going to shout from the mountaintop and alert everybody. These black women will never do that.
Right.
Karine Jean-Pierre is the White House spokeswoman. She's an absolute idiot. She's always unprepared. And she is an extreme affirmative action hire because she only got there because she was black. So they used affirmative action to put her there because we know she's only there because she's black and homosexual, and she sucks white coochie every night when she goes home because she has a white girlfriend / wife, whatever she's calling them. The fact that she's unprepared and is ineffective at doing a job means that she's affirmative action hire, which we already know that, but that's just the proof. Ketanji Brown Jackson, Associate Justice of the Supreme Court, Biden said nobody else was going to be considered, only a black woman, so he did that,
Right.
which follows this narrative that ultimately comes from Eric Mann, that we're going to put black women in these positions. Why? Because they are the most loyal to the liberal dystopian agenda,
Mm-hmm.
and they can control them. And her husband is white. And when they asked her during her confirmation, what is a woman? She said she didn't know. But she's a graduate of Harvard, and she's supposed to be so intelligent and intellectual, but you don't know what a woman is. The reason why she doesn't know what a woman is because she did not want to step on the toes of the LGBTQ, because if she defined a woman as we have always defined a woman, she would have stepped on their toes, because the LGBTQs and the left want to say that a woman is a guy that pretends to be a woman, or a woman is a guy that cuts off his nuts and gets titties
Right.
implanted in his chest.
Right.
So she didn't dare touch that.
Right.
That's disingenuous. That goes against God. But this is what the left has done to these black women. Okay? The left has corrupted these black women, made them out to be fools. And as you're going to see, this is a list of fools. Kamala Harris. Need I say more? She's always cackling and laughing. She's an absolute idiot. She did horrible things to black males in prison when she was in California, and her husband is white. I don't have any problem with that. But I'm telling you, they intentionally pick black women that are single or that have non-black husbands, because for them, they believe those women are easier to control,
Right.
and to keep in check. Letitia James, Attorney General of New York. I don't know anything about her marital situation, but I do know that she's there, and she ran on the idea that she was going to attack Trump and destroy him, haul him in, have him prosecuted.
Right.
So she was following the liberal Democrat Party agenda. So, hey, they got her right in there.
Right.
Another black woman that they control and can control. Susan Rice, okay, we already talked about her. Obama plant, she's a holdover from the Obama administration. She's in there to oversee the Domestic Policy Council, i.e. the domestic agenda. And we just told you about the domestic agenda with hiring 87,000 additional IRS agents, bringing it to a grand total of 170, 180, and giving them all this ammunition and weapons to come and keep us in check.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know how well that's going to go for them. In particular, we talked about how Obama said he was going to create this civilian, well-armed civilian force. Well, here it is. The manifestation of it is this ramped up IRS with all these weapons and all this ammunition, and they can only be intending to use it against one group of people, Americans. Therefore, that's part of their domestic policy.
Mm-hmm.
Stacey Abrams, they used her to steal the election in Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
She was faithful. She gave these white, racist, liberal, dystopian Luciferians the state of Georgia. She handed it to them. And as a result, they have rewarded her. She's accumulating wealth.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I believe she's also from, a lot of these women are from the Ivy League. Okay. And I already told you the Ivy League is a breeding ground for these people. If you don't come out of the Ivy League, you have your chances of being part of the elite is slim to none.
Mm-hmm.
There are some there, but your chances are slim to none. Linda Thomas Greenfield, she's a U.S. ambassador to the UN. That can be a very dangerous position because you are representing us at the UN. And she's all on board for this global agenda and tearing America down and blending us into this global society and removing our autonomy. Cecilia Rouse, chair of the Council of Economic Advisors, another black woman, another plant in there. And finally, Marcia Fudge, she's the Secretary of Housing and Urban Development. So she's going to go in there and she's going to carry that liberal agenda right back into there. Ben Carson tried to clean it up, and she's already began to undo everything that the Carson/Trump administration were doing to clean housing and urban development HUD up. Now, the Domestic Policy Council, which Susan Rice is ahead of, right there, they said this is some of their stated goals to ensure equity and inclusion. See, that's how they get the Negroes. Oh, we and the homos. Equity and inclusion.
Mm-hmm.
Equity and inclusion. So they're all on board, not realizing that they're actually undermining them by being tied into this World Illuminati Economic Forum that wants to eventually steal all your rights and your freedoms and your privileges given to you by God. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
When they should be protecting it, they're trying to usurp it, steal it, take it away. Okay.
Right.
This Domestic Policy Council and Susan Rice, believe me, they're wholeheartedly behind the 87,000 new well-armed IRS agents.
Right.
That's Obama's army. And he said he was going to create that army. Go watch the video. And so they say equity, inclusion, and racial justice. That's all you got to say. The black people, then you won't hear no more from them. You won't hear anything else from the black people because all they had to see that you were about racial justice, equity, and inclusion.
Right.
You don't have to really try to do anything. All you got to do is say that, and they're good.
Right.
So let me tell you what else happened, and I'm going to show some video. Let me remove this. Now, Mike, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to show you some stuff that most of you are going to find disturbing. You're going to find this to be very disturbing. Now, Biden and Obama have had a homosexual agenda, okay? They clearly stated that. And the LGBTQ Victory Institute and BLM were primarily designed to promote the homosexual transgender agenda, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Right here, I have the BLM manifesto before they removed it online, and they say, We make space for transgender brothers and sisters to participate and lead as holding positions of leadership.
Right.
Nowhere in here are they concerned with black men or black lives.
Right.
This whole manifesto is about promoting LGBTQ and transgender because two of the founding females were LGBTQ females.
Right.
So, but they knew that if they gave it a title like BLM, people would buy into it.
Right.
And nobody would ever read the manifesto, which makes it very clear they have nothing to do with Black Lives Matter.
Right.
So BLM and the LGBTQ Victory Institute are behind all this radical feminism and all these homosexuals and transgenders that you see falling into these positions of leadership and power within the Biden Democrat Party administration.
Mm-hmm.
So let me show you something. Biden appointed a guy by the name of Sam Brinton, okay,
Mm-hmm.
into the Department of Energy. In particular, he's in the nuclear segment of the Department of Energy, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Sam Brinton says that his pronouns are they and them, not he. He's a boy.
Right.
But he says, instead of he and him, he says they and them. This is the Sam Brinton character.
Right.
That Obama appointed into the Department of Energy, and his responsibility has to do with maintaining, disposing of, and securing the byproducts, this nuclear waste, and so on and so forth. I believe that's his job.
Right.
Now, that is the stuff that terrorists would love to get a hold of to make dirty bombs.
Right.
And you got this complete maniac weirdo in control of that. And when you see him, you'll see how he's not stable at all. So why would you put somebody who's completely unstable, not stable at all, in charge of something that is so highly sensitive and must be very thoroughly secured in order to protect the American public? Would you agree?
Right.
He also says that he fights against conversion therapy. Conversion therapy is where you give a young adult, a child that is trying to be LGBTQ, this therapy to keep them from converting themselves into that whole lifestyle, okay?
Mm-hmm.
He also says that he is an activist. This is Biden appointee. He's responsible for this nuclear waste and stuff. He says that he is an activist for kink/kinky subculture. That's these people behind the doors with the chains and the whips that you'll never see, okay, doing all this kinky, erotic, LGBTQ stuff, okay?
Right.
It's also heterosexuals involved as well, but he's behind this. He's an advocate, an activist for kink subculture. This is his words.
Right.
If you do your research, you can see this. Well, I'm going to show you him. I'm going to briefly introduce you to this guy who has a super important position within the government. And his position is directly tied into our security as American citizens. You ready?
Right.
Good evening. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for that wonderful introduction, Eugene.
By Biden into the Department of Energy.
Let's have a conversation, shall we?
That's enough of him. That spoke volumes, right?
Right.
Okay. We're going to go and show you a little something else. This is what these Negroes are voting for. You voted for Biden, you voted for this. He said he was going to do this stuff. Hold on. We're going to find something else here. Because they want to create a government that's ruled by homosexuals and transgenders. It's in the BLM manifesto. The LGBTQ Victory Institute, one of its leaders is Ruben Gonzalez. This is what they're on record saying they want to do. And they are, you see them, they're doing it, right? They're accomplishing their goal through the American Democrat Party, the Biden administration. They did it to a degree under Obama and Clinton. This is what they're voting for. They're proud Democrat voters. Hold on. Hold on. We're going to show you all something else.
Is that a man?
Yeah, that was a man that I showed you. You still see him on the screen?
Got the yellow dress on?
Yeah. That's the dude.
I thought it was a woman.
No. Hold on.
Oh boy.
Hold on. Hold on. You ready for this?
Pete Buttigieg and his husband Chasten are now the parents of twins. The transportation secretary and former South Bend mayor posted this picture on Instagram. Buttigieg says that he and his husband are delighted to welcome Penelope Rose and Joseph August to their family.
She went on to say the couple. Wait, stop. Pete Buttigieg is the Secretary of Transportation appointed by Biden, okay? Remember, you see them being successful, right? At this whole LGBTQ transgender agenda. They said they were going to, they never said nothing about, we're going to get black men and put them in positions of power. They said homosexuals, transgenders, and black women. You understand?
Yeah.
They exclude, but these black men out here supporting this.
They don't want no man of power in that.
But hold on, man. When these Negroes going to wake up and stop voting Democrat so that they can stop undermining themselves? Hold on.
Never.
I'm going to show you somebody else. Another appointee. Let me find it. I'm showing you his homosexual agenda, his transgender agenda. This isn't this. Did you ever think? Go back 30 years, 40 years. Did you ever think? No. Hold on. This is the insanity that we are dealing with.
I got a delayed reaction.
Well, man, let me tell you something. You ready for this?
I'm always
Hold on.
ready.
Another Biden appointee right there. That's a Biden appointee.
Admiral Rachel Levine is busy leading
That's
our country's
Admiral
response to COVID-19
Levine.
and other health issues as Assistant
He's the
Secretary of Health.
Assistant
Before that, she
Secretary of
was a
Health.
longtime pediatrician
Yeah, okay.
and leader of
Biden
Pennsylvania's
appointed
health
this
department.
dude.
Admiral Levine
Okay.
has attracted global attention.
This is
not
who
just because
Biden
she's
appointed.
dedicated
This
so
dude
much of her
pretending to
time
be a
helping
girl.
others heal, but because of her history-making
Okay.
moves.
I was confirmed twice more.
This is
She's
his
the nation's
LGBTQ
highest-ranking
agenda.
openly transgender official ever confirmed by the
He
U.S.
don't have
Senate.
nothing for black men.
The yeas are 52.
It's all about
the
black
nays are
women,
48. The nomination
Homosexuals
is
and
confirmed.
And the
transgender.
first openly transgender
Look
four-star
at this
officer.
foolishness.
I am proud to follow in my father's
Look at this
footsteps
foolishness.
and two of my uncles'
And this is
footsteps
what
in
these
serving
so-called
this
black
great nation.
men
Aside from her role protecting
voting
the
for
public's
and
health, Admiral
supporting.
Levine says she has
And then they
another
get in
duty
your
that's
face, get
just
in my
as
face,
critical,
come
protecting
up.
those who
Shoot,
are
I'm a
transgender
Democrat, no way
and
hell I'm
encouraging
gonna vote
other
for
leaders to do the
Republican
same.
and Trump.
I am speaking
No, you're
out
voting for this.
publicly, vocally, frequently. The secretary has spoken out. The surgeon.
Do you see what's happening, Mike? Now,
Yeah.
you see how everything that I've been saying, how it's all true. This isn't made up. You see how all this is tied together and where this is going?
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, listen. We want to thank you for tuning in to the Exodus Media Network. Let me say this. I'm going to be distributing this video up at Miami University, Miami of Ohio. I'm going to be distributing this video at Xavier University. I'm going to be distributing this video at University of Cincinnati. Those are the three largest universities here in our greater Cincinnati area. And Mike, listen, I'm going to be putting flyers up on campus and passing them out and putting them on the windshield wiper blades with links, and they'll be able to come straight to this video. I want you kids to understand something. I want you kids to follow me. I want you kids to reject your professors at these institutions of indoctrination. I want you to use the information that you get from all of my podcasts to fight against the indoctrination that they're giving you on these university campuses. I want you to be bold, and I want you to share this with every damn friend. And you kids nowadays, they got a lot of friends. They got friends lists big as hell. 1,000, 2,000. If you're some kind of a patriot, if you give a damn about the direction and the future of this country, you will send my videos to every single individual in your friends list, in your email list, etc. You will create links and you will text it to everybody. Moms, dads, aunts, uncles, everybody. If you don't act like you give a damn. And you will earn what you get. I don't say you get what you deserve. You will earn what you get. You will earn what you get by not being action-oriented and by not distributing the content that I'm giving you to all your family and friends. And here's the beautiful thing. If you distribute this like a good soldier, like a good patriot, eventually this will make it on all of the university campuses all across the country, because your friends that you went to high school with, they're distributed all over the country at different universities. And then you have to forward a message to them, telling them, instructing them to likewise continue to disseminate the Exodus Media Network and the videos. That's how this thing happens. If you're content to just go out and get drunk and whore around and get high, screw you. See, I'm not gonna come nice to you. If you want to get out here and jack around, and okay, I understand you're gonna kick it, you're in college, but you can at least have one responsibility, one obligation, and that's the responsibility, being responsible enough to disseminate the Exodus Media Network. Because you give a damn, because you reject this liberal narrative. Can you be bold enough, or are you going to continue to live in fear, afraid of friends disassociating with you, afraid of backlash? And if that's the case, then you're a coward. And if you're content to live your life as a coward, I pity you. I pity you. But help me to disseminate this information, because the American electorate need to be informed. We cannot continue to allow people to go to the polls the first Tuesday of November and vote out of ignorance and vote uninformed. Thank you for tuning into the Exodus Media Network. And until next time,